All right, what's up, YouTube? This is BoxingWave, and we are back with another show, another video. Okay, we have a lot to discuss. Of course, I got to go over all of the fights from over the past weekend, and I haven't done any post-fight reviews. So we're gonna go through the ESPN fight card. We're gonna go through the Showtime cards, just the main events. Really, I'm not gonna go on the undercards. We're not gonna have enough time because we have a whole lot to discuss in this video here. But we're gonna go over the Janibek card. We're going to go over the Benavidez Lemieux fight. We're going to go over the Joshua Buatsi. We're actually going to start with that, and then we're going to go on from there because all of the other fights kind of connect one way, because we're going to be talking about mainly 160, 168, and 175, where Canelo's been at. We're going to talk about Triple G3. I wasn't going to even talk about Canelo and Triple G3 today, but it's a lot of media is bringing up the topic now because they're most likely going to fight next. All right, that's going to be the trilogy is going to be next. So we're going to discuss that and everything else. All right, listen, hope everyone's having a good week so far. Hope everyone had a great weekend, and let's talk boxing. All right, this past weekend. All right, we're going to start off with 175. Joshua Buatsi. All right, he beats Craig Richards to a decision. I was able to see all of these fights. Unfortunately, I couldn't cover the fights live. All right, we're getting straight into it. What's up, everybody that's here? Brandon, City of Trees, Greg Deep. All right, what's up? We're gonna get to everything. I know people are gonna jump in. They're gonna ask about Canelo. We're gonna get to Canelo. Just give me some time because we got a lot to discuss. Joshua Buatsi defeats Craig Richards in a very, very good fight. Very good action-packed, competitive fight. Like the way that most of us expected it. A lot of people, if you were waiting for this fight to go down, it went exactly how I thought. I knew it was gonna be a close fight. I wasn't expecting a knockout. I knew that Buatsi was gonna be tested, and I figured that he was gonna win. I predicted him to win a decision because I thought his power was going to be a bigger factor than Craig Richards' experience and his boxing ability, which he did well. He displayed that well, but Buatsi was just too much. And I didn't cover the fight live, but I did live tweet my rounds as the fight went on, and I thought the judges got it right. I thought Buatsi won 8 rounds to 4, maybe 7 rounds to 5. Okay, I remember giving Richards. I believe I gave Craig Richards the 3rd round, the 7th, 8th, and 9th rounds. Okay, I think the 12th might have been, or the 11th or 12th might have been debatable. But I gave those rounds clear for Richards. And I think one of the later rounds, probably the last round, was a debatable one. I think that could have gone either way. But a very competitive fight. What I saw in the fight really was Craig was doing a good job with the setups. I mean, even going into the fight, Craig was better with the setups. All right. He has the better 1-2. He knows that he jabs more. You know what I'm saying? He has great timing with the right hand. And that's what we saw. You know what I'm saying? Especially when Buatsi started to slow down in those later rounds. Craig was just better and more consistent with the jab, and he had better setups. Buatsi was just more powerful. All right. And he was more durable. Even though he got hurt in the fight, he was more durable. It seemed like from the earlier rounds, you can just tell that anytime Buatsi landed a really clean, sharp right hand or whatever he landed, hook, whatever, it just had more of an effect on Craig. His combinations was better. His power was stronger. He was more durable. And every time he landed clean, it just had a different effect. And that's why it was easier for me to score rounds against for Josh. All right, so the first half, I only gave Richards 1 round. But in the second half, that's where Richards started to come back, because as the rounds progressed, even though there were rounds where Buatsi would hurt him, you can tell he started to slow down a bit. You know what I'm saying? He started to slow down a bit. The punches, with the snap on the punches, wasn't as sharp as it was in the earlier round, and he wasn't throwing as much. He started jabbing less, and he started to get hit more. So that's when the fight started to become a lot more competitive. I believe Richards hurt him maybe around the 8th round Okay, and I think that was probably the best round of the round. I know it was the eighth. If not the eighth, it was the ninth. But I believe it was the eighth where they had that crazy exchange towards the end of the round. It was a really good fight. Joshua Buatsi definitely passed the test, and I think he earned the win. You know, I thought the judges, I believe one or two of them had it 115, 113. I think one had it 116, 114 or something like that. Somewhere, or 116, 112, sorry. Somewhere around that ballpark is where the judges had it. And I thought I saw it the same way. 7 rounds to 5, 8 rounds to 4, the most. I don't think the fight, I think some of the rounds were swing rounds, but I don't think they were that hard to score. It's a very competitive fight. And it was good. You know, it was good. Shout out to everyone that's coming in here. What's up, Rocket Andretti? What's up, bro? Youssef was good. Olaf the Mighty. What's up, Camp Ish? What's up, Word of the Day? Aaron, Igor. What's going on, everybody? Very good fight though. Very action packed. It gave me everything I wanted, and it answered a lot of questions in a sense where, and this is the thing, you know, when we talk about whether a fight is ready for a title fight, being ready and being capable of winning is two totally different things. If you guys get where I'm coming from, like, I think Joshua Buatsi has at least proven that he's world level, right? At this point, if you didn't think so before, I think at this point he's proven to be world level, right? Now, do I think that he can beat Bivol? No. All right. Do I think he can beat Benavidez? No. Do I think he could beat Joe Smith Jr.? Possibly. Possibly. I think he has proven to be in a conversation of the elite non-champion fighters. You know what I'm saying? The non-champion guys, the guys that haven't or that's not currently holding a title, which includes Anthony Yarde, a fight that I really want to see. I want to see Joshua Buatsi fight Anthony Yarde. I really want to see that fight. All right. Now, whether you think who wins who, that's a totally different thing. But Anthony Yarde, even with the loss of Kovalev, has at least proven that he belongs in the conversation out of the top guys, the top tier guys. You got guys like Alito Alvarez. I don't know what he's doing because I haven't seen him in the ring since Joseph Jr. I don't know if he's active right now, but he's proven, even though he's not a champion, even with the loss or the losses, he's proven to be in the conversation of the top guys. You know what I'm saying? So when people say he's not ready, I don't necessarily agree with that. I believe that he's ready for anybody. Now, do I think he'll beat Benavidez? Absolutely not. Do I think he beats Bivol? Absolutely not. But if the fight were to go down, the fight is justified at this point. If you guys get what I'm saying. What's up, everyone? Thank you, Aaron, for the donation. Aaron says, yo, Wave, I like the dress shirt, man. Pro Box was dope. Paulie, Roy, Antonio, 3 of the best in the business. Pro Box. I didn't really listen to it, so I didn't get to listen to the whole thing. All right. But I'll be sure to check it out. But thanks for letting me know. Thank you for the donation as well, bro. I appreciate that. So yo, let's go back to what I was saying. He belongs in a conversation. And I think it's justified if he is to fight. Like, do I think Joshua Buatsi beats who did better be of just Marcus Brown? Marcus Brown, for example. Does he beat Marcus Brown? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if Joshua Buatsi is better than him. But Marcus Brown just got trashed by Artur Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Buatsi is better than Brown. You know, maybe he could beat John Pascal, who also fought this weekend. You know, and look, this all stands for Craig Richards as well. Because even though he lost, he's proving, even with those losses, yes, he hasn't gotten that win yet. But even with those losses, they were competitive fight. He belongs in a conversation with any of the top fighters at 175. You know? Is he the top tier? No. But he, you know, he's in that conversation. You know, who do I want to see Anthony Yard fight next? Well, he's waiting for the winner of Joe Smith Jr. and Artur Beterbiev. That's who he's waiting for. By the way, I got my tickets for that fight, so I will be going to the fight next month, June 18th. Hopefully, the fight happens. Hopefully, there's no injuries because you never know with Artur Beterbiev. That's the one thing that was making me hesitant on buying that ticket for that fight. Is Artur Beterbiev gonna stay healthy because he's injury prone? And with all this, frozen account, Russian thing going on, hopefully nothing disturbs this fight. Hopefully it goes down in June 18th because I already bought my ticket. So I'm definitely going to the fight. Can't wait to see the fight. It should be a really, 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 really good fight. All right. So look, anything else with that? Buatsi is good power, good durability. Again, I just want to see better setups. I want him to jab more, maybe work on the conditioning for the later rounds a little bit more. I felt like he was doing a good job pacing himself because I know that there were rounds where he was kind of clobbering Richards. I noticed that he didn't seem or really didn't appear like he was out punching himself, or punching himself out. But I noticed in the second half that he did slow down and Richards definitely had a second win and started to come back. All right, so maybe work on that conditioning for the later rounds. Again, this was a big test for him. So work on that stamina, learn how to pace yourself, but definitely do more with the lead hand, do more with the jab. I think he needs to do more with the setups overall, right? But I like the fact that he was feinting, I like the hand speed. Again, like I said, I like everything that he was doing. Just the later half of the fight, though, I feel like Richards might have edged more. I mean, Richards definitely edged more rounds in the second half, in my opinion, or at least tied in the second half. All right. But Buatsi had a huge lead in the first half in the fight, in my opinion. Very good fight, very good test. I think the problem with Richards is that Richards, to me, only has one gear. I think he boxes well. I think he's better than who's the dude that Anthony Yard fought twice, or Anthony Yard had lost to. Pull him up. Anthony Yard fought Lyndon Arthur twice. I like Richards better than Arthur. I like him better than Arthur. I think he's not as gun shy as Lyndon Arthur. All right. Lyndon Arthur, same kind of styles though. But I think I like Richards more than him. But Yard destroyed him in the second fight, which I predicted he would. I thought that first loss was a fluke. I knew if Yard just really pushed the pace like he did in the Kovalev fight, I figured he would come back and destroy him in the rematches, which we saw. I would love to see Joshua Buatsi against Anthony Yard right now. I would love to see it. That's what I want to see. All right. That's what I want from those guys. All right. But all of these fights, there's a lot of fights available. There's a lot of fights that's on the table for all of these guys right now. Who else you got there? You got Callum Smith. We can't forget now that Callum Smith is up at 175. All right. We also cannot forget about Zerto, who had just recently fought as well. All right. Zerto is still active. He's still in the building. He's very, very relevant. Yes. Smash that like button. All right. Thank you, Chase. Hit that like button. If you guys are here, we got about 70 viewers here. Everybody smash that like button. Let's get to 70 likes. All right, you got Vlasov out there. You got John Pascal that's still out there. You got Marcus Brown still out there. There's a lot of people that Buatsi can still fight. Sullivan Barrera is still out there. All right, but I would love to see the Anthony Yard fight right now. Right now. But in my opinion, I still think that he can improve. It didn't seem like his coach really was looking to fight a better BF, not anyone on that level. I think he's earned his way to a title fight, but I still think there's more work that can be done to improve his skills overall. But good win for him, and I look forward to the both of them. All right, I look forward to both of them. All right, so let's get into Janibek. All right, Janibek I don't know his last name yet. I can't say it yet. I'll be sure to learn how to say it for the future, because we're going to be talking about him a lot. All right. Can't keep getting away with just saying his first name, but I'm going to keep it at Janibek for now. Janibek is, he beats up Danny Dignum over the weekend on ESPN. All right. And I believe he is now like the WBO #1 guy, or maybe the interim champion or something like that, where Andre is still holding the title. Don't know what Andre. I don't know if he's going to fight Zach Parker at 168. I don't know what's going on with Andre right now, but I know he is the champion at 160. Janibek beats Danny Dignum. I've never heard of Danny Dignum before. Danny Dignum has never beaten anyone credible. Okay, he doesn't have a good resume. I wasn't expecting any more. I mean, Janibek has already proven against Indom and proven against Rob Brandt that he's better than guys like a Danny Dignum. Right? So I just saw it as a stay busy fight. Danny, solid boxer and everything, but Janibek has already proven that he's levels above that guy. And he proved it again the other day. Well, he proved it for sure the other night. Janibek is very, very good, man. I like him. And look, before I continue, because we're going to go from Janibek, we're going to talk about Canelo, Triple G, David Benavidez, all this stuff. Look, and this doesn't just apply to content creators, because whenever we have a weekend like this one, where there's a lot of guys in one division where guys are not fighting each other, there's a lot of guys. I know Canelo fought almost everyone at 168 besides Benavidez. I know that at 160, we still have a lot of guys there that's never fought each other. We got 3 champions down there that's never fought each other, and they've been champions for at least 3 or 4 years. That's Charlo, that's Andre, and Triple G. They never fought each other. What you got to understand, whether you're listening to another content creator like myself on YouTube, if you're looking at social media, if you're looking at tweeters, if you're looking at these guys that run the media, you got to pay attention, or you're just listening to fans. You have to pay attention to what people say. And people like to apply certain rules when it comes to specific fighters based on their own biases, wherever the bias is from, whether it's a bias is based on demographic or race or even promoters or networks where they fight them on, because people are really fans towards certain networks, right? Certain streaming services. Some people hate certain ones. Some people love other ones. You got to pay attention to what you're saying. Janibek is doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, right? People will give him the stamp. Some people will hate him and saying that he's being overrated. But some of those same people will go to another guy like a Jaron Boots Ennis, who's doing the exact same thing. Everybody they throw in front of him, he's cleaning them up. He's dominating them, right? Some people give Jaron Ennis the stamp and say he's next up. He's going to be the next best thing. He's future pound for pound. And some people say, well, he ain't fighting nobody. Anybody can do that to the people he's fought. He's not proving anything, but you got to understand that this is going to continue. This is going to always be a thing. It's going to be a pattern. Pay attention to those narratives and who they come from, and pay attention to the next fighter that his career is going, because these guys, their careers is going exactly how it's supposed to go. Janibek is supposed to be beating up guys like this for now. Now, when we compare him to a Charlo or Triple G or Andre specifically, because Andre is the guy that holds that belt. When we say Janibek is ready for this guy, or Janibek could beat this guy, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, has he proven it by beating the guys he beat? No, but sometimes fighters move up straight up to the very best, and they prove that they're the very best. Janibek is better than everybody that Andre has fought in recent years already. He is. And I'm an Andre fan. I'm an Andre supporter. But I will admit that the people that Andre has been fighting even like guys like Liam Williams, right? Like Liam Williams was a good fight, right? It was a solid opponent, even leading up to the fight, right? Good matchup. Janibek is better than Liam Williams. He is. In my opinion, he is. I know they never fought, but based on what I've seen between the two in their careers, Janibek is better than that guy. Just like when we go down to 147 and we're talking about Boots Ennis, I did a top 10. I have Boots above everyone that's not a champion. Right now. Has he fought Virgil Ortiz? No. Has he fought Stan Jonas? No. Has he fought a Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia? No, he hasn't. But in my opinion, Ennis is better than all those guys already. Right now, he's better. He's better. Now, Keith Thurman has done it. Keith Thurman has been unified, right? He's unified. He's a great champion. I love Keith Thurman, right? Great former champion. But right now, Boots will beat Keith Thurman, in my opinion. But what my point is with all of this is that people like to pick and choose when to say, oh, this guy hasn't fought anybody. It doesn't matter if he hasn't fought anybody. I think if Janibek were to possibly fight Andrade right now, it would be Andrade's toughest fight. I don't even know who would win that fight. Because it would be, in my opinion, Janibek looks that good already. Janibek doesn't have to fight. Like, he does need to prove himself. But if we're talking about picks, like let's say this fight happens next, I'm going to have a hard time trying to tell you or convince you who's going to win. Because I don't know. But Andre fights in the past, I always picked him to win without much thought. There's no one on Andre's resume past Vanes Martirosyan that I felt like Andre might have lost to. And it's not all his fault because a lot of fighters did not want to fight him. Fighters still don't want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? If you guys, and I know I'm going way off tangent right now, but I want people to understand, listen to the messenger, listen to who is coming from, and watch how consistent they are with other fighters. I said this, I made a video years ago about Golovkin and Spence. When Golovkin was undefeated and he was looked at to be a top 5 pound for pound guy, or not even, maybe not that yet, but maybe when he held one belt or before that, I said, look, we got Spence right here who's coming up and destroying guys like Chris Algieri and all these guys like the way he's supposed to. But people are targeting him and saying that he's not doing enough or he hasn't fought no one. Yet they're praising Triple G, who at that time really didn't fight anyone else. Maybe he fought Lemieux at that time. No, the both of them, they two totally different backgrounds, but they're doing the exact same thing. If you want to look it up, I think if you search BoxingWave, Golovkin and Spence, they're doing the same thing, but they have two different backgrounds. They're two different races, and they're fighting on two different networks. But there's a huge difference in opinion because people have biases. Take notice. That's my whole point. Janibek looks good. Andrade, the way I'm looking at it is Andre is moving up now because I have no idea. I know he's not getting the opportunities he wants down at 160. I know he's been wanting to fight Triple G for a long time. I know he wanted to fight Canelo for a long time. I know he wanted to fight Charlo for a long time. All right. Now, Janibek is now close or even his mandatory at this point. It seems like Andre moved up at the time where Janibek was his next opponent. I could look at it like this. I could look at it as like, well, maybe Andre is going up to 168 because there's bigger fights for him right there because these fights that he was trying to secure at 160 aren't there for him. You know what I'm saying? And to add on to that, is being in his career as long as he's been without having a big fight yet, he hasn't fought any of those guys I just named. I think he has a right to chase after whoever it is he's chasing. But then again, I have to question, well, who exactly are you moving up to 168 to fight? Who will fight you there? Canelo didn't fight you at 154 or 160. What makes you think he's going to fight you at 168? And if you don't fight Canelo, who are you going to fight? Are you going to go to the PBC and try to get in the mix with those guys? What are you doing exactly? What's the plan? Because Zach Parker isn't it. You know what I'm saying? So it does look like a duck right now. It does. It does look like, well, Janibek is your next toughest opponent, but Janibek ain't the fight you was looking for. At this point, if you're 34 years old, I believe Andre is 34. At this point, you're looking for that big fight because you fought all the way to this moment, and your toughest opponent is Janibek. You don't, maybe not on paper, but yeah, it's probably his best opponent. You don't have anybody because mainly no one really wanted to fight you. So now you're going to risk it all against someone that is on the come up. I can understand. The same thing with Spence. When Spence was going up and he was calling out Danny Garcia and he was calling out Keith Thurman and he was calling out Sean Porter. I'm not talking about when he was a champion. I'm talking about when he beat Leonard Bundu, when he beat Chris Algieri. No one wanted to fight Errol Spence. I just said this the other day. They didn't want to fight him. You know why? Because they're in a position now where they only want to fight each other. They're shooting, they're gunning for Floyd, who was still fighting. They're gunning for Manny Pacquiao, or they're gunning for each other. They don't want to fight the guy that's coming up because they don't want the guy that's coming up who's just as much of a threat to take their shine. No, this is the same pattern every fighter does. There is not too many fighters that are elite fighters that fight the young guy that's on the come up, trying to get that named win before the younger fighter fights the other best guys. It doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. So when you're in your mid-30s or you're in your 30s and you're looking for your first big money bag fight, and they try to throw the next one up at you, you think these guys are going to stop what they're doing? You think Crawford or Spence is going to stop what they're doing right now to fight Jaron Boots Ennis when they're this close to fighting each other? Hell no. If the fight goes down now, it's only because they got no choice. There's too many guys gunning for them. You got Boots, you got Virgil Ortiz, you got real killers that's on the come up. You guys got to hurry up and fight each other. You got to do it. Let's not act like this pattern hasn't been going on for years, for generations. It's been the same pattern. So people like to be picky and choosy with who it is. Oh, it's Janibek and Andre. But for the next guy, they say, no, they give an excuse. They give this person a pass for not fighting him. They give this person a pass for not fighting him. You notice that certain fans, certain media, certain content creators like to target certain fighters that fight on certain platforms that are certain race, that come from a certain part of the world. Take notice. Now, if you love the narrative that they're running and they're pushing, continue to follow them. That's your business. But let's not act like it's not a real thing. It's a real thing. And it's been going on. I like Janibek. Good win. I mean, I have nothing else to really say about that guy. He did what he was supposed to do. What else was he supposed to do against Danny Dignum besides destroy him? You know, when he destroyed Rob Brandt, you know, and let me rewind a little bit because Triple G, and we're going to go into Triple G, and we're going to go into Benavidez, and we're going to segue into all of that. Triple G just fought Ryota Murata, a fight that he was pushing for, right? He wanted this fight. In fact, he waited until this fight went down before returning to the ring. He was not. And smash that like button. Everybody that's in here, I see there's a lot of comments being dropped. Smash that like button for me if you can. Let's get to 100 likes, please. Triple G was not going to return to them. After he beat Sarameta, he was not returning to the ring until he got the Ryota Murata fight. While there were two other champions, one being on DAZN, available to fight. Now, I know like people like to run with the narrative that Demetrius Andrade didn't fight anyone, which he really hasn't fought anyone great. But you gotta understand that Andrade's style is very tricky for a lot of fighters. So when people say, well, Canelo didn't fight, or Canelo or Triple G didn't fight Andrade, but he fought all of these other guys that have done much, like that are more dangerous. Like he fought Callum Smith. He fought Billy Joe Saunders. Saunders fought Eubanks. Saunders did this. Callum Smith went up. He won the super tournament. You know, okay, we get it. But I think Andrade was a little bit more difficult. Style-wise. It's not always about who's on his resume. It's when I see what Andrade can do in the ring as opposed to Callum Smith, I knew it was going to be an easy fight for Canelo Alvarez. I knew Caleb Plant, Canelo was going to get to him at some point. But I know with Andrade, when we were discussing Andrade at 160, at 154, I said, this is a tough fight for Canelo. Southpaw, you know what I'm saying, just real tricky. Style is not easy fight style to get through. It's just not. This is why people would rather not fight him, because the risk is not worth the reward. If you get through him, you're not going to look good beating him up. You know what I'm saying? This is why people move the way they do. But everybody does it. Andre's doing it now with Janibek. He's doing it right now. It's not worth it. I'm too close to get into a big fight. I'm not going to throw it up my whole career to this guy that just came out of nowhere. They all do it. All of them do it. All of them are calculated when it comes to certain fights. The reason why Canelo gets a huge pass, and this is why he gets rated so high, because when he decides on who he chooses, because yes, he chooses, it's his choice. When he decides, his resume, the people he chooses are still way above where everybody else is facing. So for the Charlo people that are mad at Canelo, you could be mad, but look who Charlo has been facing at 160. It's just not even comparable. Same thing with Andrade. It's not even comparable. Okay, before you get to me, who are you fighting? Not even comparable. And I love those guys, but I'm not going to sit here and go to bat for them. They don't even want to fight each other. Same thing with Triple G. Triple G says, I'm not going to fight neither one of you, which he hasn't. I'm going to unify with Murata, even though no one's asking for that. And guys, let's not forget, he fought Murata, but remember, Murata had lost to Brandt. You know? He go with Murata. Let's look. Murata lost to Brandt, and he lost to didn't he lose to Endom or something in the first fight? I mean, yeah, he beat them, but it's like he still lost to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, Murata's a good fighter. He has a big crowd, a big fan base in Japan. He was definitely going to sell tickets, but I thought Murata was probably the easiest pickings between the three. Yeah, he stopped Brandt in the second round. He stopped him in the second round, but he lost to him too. He has an L on his resume to Rob Brandt. He does. There's no disputing that. It's in the history books. There shouldn't have even been a rematch. Should have destroyed him the first time. Same thing in Indom. Indom has lost and been broken down and dropped by so many fighters. I've been watching Indom for years. He's a good fighter. Distinguished netizen. Thank you for the super chat. Canelo loves to pick them cherries. That's what distinguished netizen has to say. Well, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Because as far as I'm concerned, at 168, and thank you again, as far as I'm concerned, all those dudes at 168, you know why he went up there and cleaned it up? Because all those dudes at 168 weren't fighting each other. They weren't doing shit. They were sitting on their ass, taking easy fights. They were taking easy fights, not doing nothing. And they got the Canelo bag. Yes, they got the Canelo payday. But technically, why didn't Saunders and Smith fight each other? Right? Why didn't they fight each other? You both with Matchroom on the zone. Why didn't Plant and Benavidez fight each other? You both are with the PBC on Showtime. What's going on? They got lucky and Canelo chose to fight them and clean up. Now, when it comes to Benavidez, I was here saying that Benavidez was the toughest one out of those guys. Stylistically, I thought even back then, I didn't have to wait for him to beat the hell out of Lemieux like he did this past weekend. Benavidez, in my opinion, all right, even in those earlier fights where they weren't big against Porky Medina and, you know, the Ronald Ellises of the world and all those guys, you know, I knew that Benavidez was going to be a tougher fight for Canelo than Smith, Saunders, and Plant. This is what it is. Benavidez choked twice, missed weight, got stripped from, I don't know, being on smoking weed or marijuana. I don't know. He got stripped twice, right? He got stripped twice. So when Canelo moved up there, Benavidez wasn't a champion and he wasn't an option. All right? People felt that was a duck for Canelo. Well, Canelo has not ducked him because there was never an opportunity to fight him or a reason to fight him. Now, if you want to get mad at someone, get mad at the WBC. Get mad at the WBC. Because the WBC stripped him and then enforced Canelo to fight him at all. Now, maybe he could fight him now because he's the interim champion, WBC interim champion. So maybe Canelo can fight him very soon, you know, to defend the title. We just got to wait and see. You know, if there's an opportunity where, you know, if Canelo is going to fight Triple G next and the WBC comes out and say, all right, well, Benavidez is your mandatory. You got to fight him by this day. And Canelo just says, all right, I'm going to keep the other 3 belts, but I'm going to drop this one specifically. This one. Then that's a duck. But we haven't gotten to the point where it's a duck. You guys got to be patient. I've said this before about other fighters. You guys are quick to jump for the duck. We got to wait and see for the duck to happen. If there's going to be a duck, it'll happen. But a duck has not happened in my eyes. Benavidez wasn't a champion. And there's no way for us to know that whether or not Canelo would have went for undisputed if Benavidez was going to be there. You got to remember, as soon as Canelo beat Kovalev, as soon as Canelo became undisputed at 175, but right before he fought Bivol, there was people that felt like Canelo would beat Beterbiev, Bivol, and all the rest of the guys at 175. They even thought Makabo was a cherry pick, right? There's a lot of people that thought that just a few weeks ago. People thought Makabu was a cherry pick. Now that he lost to Bivol, now we've gone back. And now we're saying, okay, well, Bivol will beat him again. Beterbiev will beat him. Benavidez will beat him. Charlo would beat him. This guy, like Andre would beat him. Whatever. Now we're back to that talk. Because now he took an L. So now he's been right back knocked down to, okay, he's one of the best guys, but he's not clearly the best guy. He can't just jump weights and just beat whoever we think he could beat. No, it doesn't work that way. There's challenges out there. So now we got kicked back down a couple of notches when it comes to he's beatable. He's human. He's not. He just can't walk around and just beat anybody from any different weight class. You know what I'm saying? Like size is a factor when you're fighting a certain level of skill. I believe Benavidez is his toughest fight at 168. At 168, for sure. I've said this before he had his run at 168. 168, Benavidez was that guy. All right. To be the toughest for Canelo. I've been consistent with that for a while. All right. I love the Sam Saunders fight. Out of the four guys, I think I know I did a video. I don't know which one because I've done a lot of videos on this. I always had Benavidez as number one. All right. I know he wasn't the most accomplished because Callum Smith was more accomplished than him. All right. Callum Smith did more. He won the tournament. I thought at that point he fought better fighters, but as far as styles are concerned, I thought Callum Smith was just a little too robotic. Yes, he's big. He's the biggest. Physically, he's the biggest. I know he has a lot of power, but I thought his skill set was below Plant, Benavidez, and Saunders. I thought Saunders, as a career as a whole, had the best resume. Maybe not at 168, but his whole body of work at 160 and 168 was better. All right. I like what he did at 168. 168 I wasn't that crazy about, but his boxing ability, the reason why I had him under Benavidez was I like his boxing ability. I like his hand speed. I like the fact that he's a southpaw. So I like that more than the Plant fight. I didn't care for Plant. You guys know I didn't care for that fight. Plant really didn't do much of anything for me, at least for me. He didn't do much for anything for me. You know? He just didn't do enough up to that point. You know, so he was at the bottom for me because I knew even though Plant would be harder to win rounds against than Callum Smith, I knew Callum Smith was bigger and more durable. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't think he had a chance against Canelo. All right. He's a big guy, but what's the advantage of being that tall and having those long arms and not knowing how to use it? You know, once you get on the inside of Callum Smith and smother him, he ain't had nothing. He's not like Kovalev that knows how to use that jab to keep the distance. That's what he did. Guys like Kovalev, guys like Bivol, they know how to keep that lead hand out there to keep Canelo outside. You know, Triple G, those guys. Yusuf says, thank you for the donation, bro. Benavidez is a problem. I wonder if Charlo or Plant can handle his relentless physical attributes. I think Canelo can beat him right now, but he can't wait too long. Benavidez is only getting better. I mean, yo, I don't think, yo, and thank you for the donation, bro. Always, man. You one of my biggest supporters on here. I don't think that fight with Lemieux did anything for me. Whatever I believe about Benavidez being the biggest threat for Canelo at 168, it didn't change when I saw the Lemieux fight. You know, you guys saw the breakdown. It's really up to Benavidez on what he wants to do. If he wants to beat and destroy Lemieux early, he can. It'll be more risky, but he can do it. Or if he wants to just outbox him and knock him out later, he can do it later. It was either one or the other. I said the only thing about stopping him early is you got to worry about his power as well. But Lemieux hasn't even, he just went in life or death with someone in his first fight at 168. As much of a puncher as he is, he's too easy to get hit. He's too predictable. We seen him get outpowered and outboxed. He needs more. So the Benavidez fight, even though it was a good win for him, it's not a better win than the Anthony Durrell fight. Anthony Durrell is a proven career 168 fighter, former champion. He's proven. He's proven. Lemieux is not proven at 168. He's not. Charles Edward Cheese, thank you for the super donation, man. Appreciate it every single time. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man. Lemieux fight didn't do anything for me, y'all. And that's not trying to take anything. And Charles, thank you again. Thank you always. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you, everyone that send a donation. Make sure everybody hit that like button, by the way. Yo, the Lemieux fight is a good win. I'm not trying to take anything away from David Benavidez. It's a good win. All right. But Canelo is like, let's put everybody, let's hold the same standard for everybody else. We saw what Saunders did to Lemieux. Didn't stop him, but shut him out in a beautiful performance against him, right? Didn't stop him, but damn, you can't outbox anyone any more than that. You know? You can't. It was such a mismatch as far as boxing ability. Saunders did that already. Then we saw a mixture of power and boxing ability when Triple G fought Lemieux. Triple G stopped him and dominated him on the scorecards. Beautiful jab, consistent all night long. And then now we just see the full-blown destruction of Benavidez. Like Benavidez said, I'm not even going to take any time here. I'm going to just take you out. These guys drew the towel in, and it was a great stoppage. There was nothing that who was expecting Lemieux to win that fight? I don't think there's many people out there. You know? Lemieux doesn't belong at 168 on that level. He's a big puncher, but he's not a big guy. He belongs at 160. You know, if he's going to fight at 168, they're just going to be taking him out for the name. You know? I think Lemieux, if he's going to stay at 168, you know, maybe fight, you know, I know Danny Jacobs is still around. John Ryder is still around. You know, those are the names. You don't go straight to Benavidez. Benavidez got better wins and better fights than that. What is it? Ronald Gabriel is a better fighter. Maybe not like at 168 as far as names, but he was a tougher fight. And I know Benavidez was younger, and I know Benavidez improved. But certain fights are just better fights. They don't have to be former champions. Some fighters are just better fights. All right, Benavidez, what I like, I would love the Canelo fight right now. I would love it. I would love it. You know, if Canelo sticks around at 168, which I think he should, I think eventually he should have to fight Benavidez. Yusuf said something about don't waiting too long. I mean, it might already be too late because Benavidez has been good for a while. He just needs the opportunity to fight someone that's going to make him step up. It's not an easy fight. You know, Benavidez is a good boxer that can bang it out with you. He's harder than Smith and Saunders, bro. He's harder than Plant. What do you think Plant don't want to fight him for? Plant took the route and trying to wait it out. Plant, look at his resume. Look at who he fought after he became a champion. That resume is horrible. The worst out there. The worst out there. As good of a boxer as he is, there's no reason why he was fighting the people he was fighting. There's a reason why he's not fighting. There's a reason why Charlo don't want to go up there. Charlo, look, man. These guys don't want to fight Benavidez. Let's just be real. These guys don't want to fight him. I think the Canelo fight will happen eventually, hopefully. But I'm not like, I've been wanting to see the fight with Canelo. It's not like, oh, well, Benavidez just beat Lemieux. Now I'm pushing for the fight. No, it's been consistent. Like, guys that's doing that like this weekend, like now, like, there hasn't been an opportunity where Canelo has ducked him. Benavidez screwed up his opportunity. You know, now if Canelo had moved up to 168 for everybody else and didn't fight Benavidez, then that's a duck. But Benavidez is not the champion. Canelo fought the champions. So give them some time. If they make the fight, they make the fight. All right, let's see what happens. In the meantime, I think Charlo needs to stay at 160 and unify with Andrade. If Andrade is, and unless he doesn't move up, I would love those guys at 160 to fight each other. There's plenty of fighters at 160. Chris Eubank, what the hell is he doing? What are you doing, Chris Eubank? What are you doing? Like, or Andrade, what are you doing? What are you doing, Charlo? Triple G, I mean, he's going to get the Canelo fight, which you wanted, so whatever. I'm assuming that Triple G retires after that fight. Win or lose. Triple G retires after the third Canelo fight. Ever since the first Canelo fight, that's where his career has been going. And ever since then, Canelo's the only priority at this point. This is why we haven't gotten any other fights that may derail his opportunity of getting another Canelo fight. I mean, even when he signed it to DAZN, it was all about facing Canelo. All right. Am I mad at the fight? Am I as interested in the fight as I was before the first and the second fight? No, I'm not. All right. I lost interest because we already saw two fights. Regardless of how you feel the fights went, I definitely don't think Canelo won the first fight. I think the second fight was close, could have gone either way. But a few more years have passed. Triple G is 40 years old now. Canelo's in his absolute prime. I don't think there's anything that Triple G can do better this time around, especially because I believe that Canelo belongs at 168. I really believe he belongs there. I think he's going to have another opportunity to fight at 175. I think he's going to try again at some point. But I think right now, Canelo Alvarez beats Triple G in the Triple G trilogy. One thing I want to say, though, this might be a bit controversial because some of you may not believe this or agree with me. I still think Triple G at 40 is a tougher fight for Canelo than Plant, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Avni Yildirim, clearly. Let me know if you could agree with that in the comments. I think 40-year-old Triple G that's going to fight Canelo is still better than all of those guys that Canelo just fought at 168. The ones he fought, not the ones he didn't fight. The ones he's fought, I think Triple G right now, moving up to 168, is still a better opponent or a tougher opponent at 40 years old than the rest of those guys. That sounds crazy to you? Let me know where you disagree. I don't think Callum Smith is better than Triple G. I don't think Billy Joe Saunders is better than Triple G. I don't think Callum Plant is better than Triple G, even at 40. I think Triple G was so good in his prime in those two fights with Canelo that those guys that Canelo beat still at this point are not better. Benavidez, different conversation. I don't think Triple G is better than Benavidez, or Benavidez is better than Triple G in his prime. But I do think Benavidez today will be a tougher fight Canelo than a 40-year-old Triple G. If you guys get where I'm going, because that's where I'm going. Without including the guys at 175. If we're going to keep it 168 and below, I believe that Benavidez is a tougher fight for Canelo right now than a Triple G trilogy. But I have Triple G over all of those guys that we were just praising Canelo for beating. All right? So the reason why I'm not going hard with this fight is because I still think Triple G is deserving for Canelo fight just because of the fact that I don't think he won the first fight. And I think he's given Canelo two really good fights. And I think, I think Canelo is going to win the fight. I don't know if he's going to stop him, but I think the fight is still going to be good. All right. I still think it's going to be good. I think it's just going to be clear this time. I don't think up to this point in those two fights that Canelo has a clear win over Triple G. I think this will be the first win, whether it goes to decision, whether there's a stoppage. I think this will be the first time in this trilogy that Canelo wins and it's clear. All right. I think if Canelo is to ever hurt, drop, stop Triple G, it would be from a body shot. I still don't think there's enough for Canelo to stop Triple G by just doing what he's done in the first two. I think he has to really attack his body. He started out in the first fight doing it. It just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. I think he just can't just hit him in the head. It's not going to be enough. Arthur says he has Triple G beating Canelo. Triple G beats Charlo and Benavidez, right? I don't know if he's saying he does or I don't know. Is he saying he does right now? Does Triple G beat Benavidez right now? I don't think so. If Triple G were moving up to 168 right now to fight Benavidez, I'm picking Benavidez to beat him. Rocket Andretti said this might be unpopular, but I believe Triple G versus Canelo 3 could be a prime and end Canelo. Also, if he chooses to go to war. I'm not really sure if I understand what you're saying. A prime and end, like the end of his prime. Like if Canelo fights him like in a war again, I think that's what you're saying. I don't know. I mean, Canelo is 31. I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean. Triple G looks great still to me. It's just that he looks like a 40-year-old version of himself, which means he still looks really good, but he doesn't look like he did when he was in his prime. I mean, you pick any fight and go and watch it real quick. Watch a 32-year-old Triple G. I did the other day when I was watching him fight Lemieux. I'm sorry, that's not the same guy that I saw fight against Murata. I'm sorry, that's not the same guy. It's not the same guy. He still looks great, but it's not the same guy. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still very good. It's not the same guy, though. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and it's the same thing with Pacquiao when he fought Thurman. Pacquiao looked amazing against Thurman, but that just goes to show how good Pacquiao was in his prime. He was so goddamn fast that even when he fought Thurman at 40, he was still way faster than Thurman. But I can also say to you that when you watch Pacquiao versus Thurman versus Pacquiao against Margarito, two totally different versions of Pacquiao. Still different. Still looks good. That's not the same guy. Still looks good, though. You know, I think Charlo and Charlo is very hard to be sure where he's at as far as on the elite level, because I feel, right? I feel, and I'm basing this off the best two fighters that I think is on his resume, which is Deverenchenko and J. Rock Williams. All right. Those are the two best wins that he got at 154 and 160, right? In each division. I feel that when he steps up, he looks better. He looks his very best when he steps up. When he fights down, he looks worse. The fight is more competitive than what it needs to be. Like Brandon Adams should be an absolute destruction, but it wasn't. Montiel should be an absolute destruction, but it wasn't. But if he were to fight Jaime Munguia, for example, right? If he were to fight him and he's prepping and he's going into the fight, I think we see a better Charlo in that fight than we did against the in the Montiel fight. That's just my opinion. Yeah, so that's how the way I look at it. Yeah, so for when it comes to Canelo, the WBC, we just gotta wait and see what they're gonna do. All right. We just gotta wait and see what the WBC is gonna do about this whole thing, man. Like, I just don't think people are gonna be looking to fight Benavidez unless they have to. And it might have to be Canelo, depending on where it goes or all goes from here. I expect him to be Triple G, though. In the meantime, you know, I don't expect Plant to fight Benavidez. All right. Plant is coming off of a knockout loss to Canelo. Plant is going to fight at least two guys that he's used to fighting before getting a bigger fight, whether it's Charlo. I actually honestly see Charlo fighting Plant before Benavidez. I think if Charlo goes up, I just don't see. I'm talking about when we're basing his resume and his pattern or who he's facing. I don't see Charlo moving up to 168 and fighting Benavidez immediately. It's just too risky. And I'm basing it off his pattern or who he's been facing. You know what I'm saying? That's such a dangerous fight. Would I love it? Is it warranted? Absolutely. It's warranted strictly off the fact that they've been doing mad talking. But I'm being realistic. I don't think anybody's going to fight Benavidez unless they have to. Just don't think. You know? I'll tell you one thing, though, about Benavidez. I didn't like when I heard that the camp or his trainer or someone from his camp was saying that they wouldn't fight Andre unless they got paid $10 million. When I heard that, I didn't like that at all. I thought that was bullshit. You know, I hate when I hear when a fighter says like they throw a ridiculous number out there. I mean, I know Benavidez didn't say that himself, but I know his camp did say it. And if that's true, that's bullshit. That's like ducking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I won't fight this guy unless they pay me $10 million. As in, the risk is not, the reward ain't worth it unless you you pay me an amount that I'm not worth. $10 million against Andre? Where are you gonna get the 10 million? How are you gonna make that money up? That's ridiculous. I didn't like that, but it happened. Janibek, it's the same thing with him. I don't think anybody's gonna fight him unless they have to. Boots, I don't think anybody's gonna fight him unless they have to. Every division has one. All right, it is what it is. They're not gonna fight him unless they have to. Okay. So anyway, I think I covered it all. So this week we got Tank Davis against Rolly Romero fight week. All right, and I was trying to watch Rolly last night. I was doing some film study a little bit, and I think his I think his awkwardness is what can be an issue for anybody, but at the same time, not for Tank. Yo, Andrew Smith. Andrew Smith says, fight of the century, Rolly and Tank. Yo, what's the deal with everybody on social media like trolling this fight the last couple of weeks? Have any of you guys noticed that? Like everybody is making it seem like this is the biggest fight in the century. I think it's kind of funny, but when Rolly was coming out with footage of him prepping and stuff, people are like, yo, this is the greatest guy. But the trolling is funny because they're making it like they're clearly making it funny, like making fun of these guys or making fun of Rolly, but they do it in a way where you believe them. Like you kind of like the way they're doing it, they do it with a serious face. Everybody's been trolling Rolly Romero for the last couple of weeks. Let me tell you something. I don't like this fight. I'm not asking it. I'm not asking for this fight. But there's certain things that I don't like about this whole thing. Yeah, what's good, Wood? Yeah, what's good? Yeah, the sarcasm. Bedoy D34 says showbiz is the blame. Oh, I didn't see it. I don't think oh yeah, I seen the video. I commented on that video. Showbiz made a video where they were comparing Rolly the Romero to George Foreman. Yeah, I think is he the one that started? Because he put out that video a while ago. I think maybe like a week and change. Anyway, long story short, I mean, look, I know none of us really like, but let's be serious. I don't like these fights, right? Like I've been an advocate for Tank fighting Lomachenko for a long time. Like I've been pushing for that fight since Tank beat Pedraza. Like at that point, I really just started saying like, yo, Lomachenko, he's ready for Lomachenko. Because I felt like Pedraza, that win aged so well because to this day, Pedraza has taken his losses, but no one has like dominated him or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I including Lomachenko. When Tank won that fight, it was above him because it was a huge jump in opposition for Tank, and it's the way that he destroyed him. But I haven't gotten a win like that since that win, and I thought the Leo Santa Cruz is his second best win, and I think the what's his name? The what's his name? Damn. What's the guy he beat? And that's from 140. I always forget this guy's name. Always. Mario Barrios. Those wins are good wins. All right. Barrios, he went up and fought him legit at 140. There was no catch weight. It's a good win. Not a fight that anyone was asking for, though. No one was asking for Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz, fourth division champion, had one loss, but avenged that one loss that he had. He's a good fighter, but he didn't prove anything at 130. He picked up a quick belt. They made the fight, and Tank destroyed him, right? But it's still a good win because it's Leo Santa Cruz. And then, of course, Pedraza. I don't like the fact that people are trying to make Tank out to be like a Jaime Munguia. I've been seeing the comments and the comparisons on Twitter. All right, this is why I don't spend too much time on Twitter. Some days I just don't check it at all. But people take it too far. Like, I understand that no one wants to be, you know, I understand that Tank is not fighting the guys we want to see him face. We wanted to see him face Lomachenko. We wanted him to face certain people, you know, that's at 130, between 130, 140, whatever. I understand that Leonard Ellaby makes certain comments, all right, that makes us hate certain fighters, right? But there's no reason why you should be comparing a Jaime Munguia to a Tank Davis. There's nothing to compare. Jaime Munguia has literally, Jaime Munguia is the most cherry pickable fighter in the sport right now. Anybody that's fighting at an elite level, there's no one that has cherry picked better than Jaime Munguia and Oscar De La Hoya. It's not even comparable. I mean, the dude, even his title in 154 was against a guy that had no business being at 154. All right. Jaime Munguia, I noticed that when it comes to him, people love just saying that he's a fun fighter. The standards are different with certain fighters. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. I just said this earlier. The standard is different. Because if you're going as far as comparing Tank to Jaime Munguia, you got a problem. I don't even want to hear your boxing. Like, Tank, Leo, Pedraza, Barrios. At least Tank stopped Barrios. Keith Thurman didn't. It means something. Same thing with Pedraza. He destroyed the Pedraza. Everybody else was in competitive fight with Pedraza. Everybody else, since Tank beat him, was in competitive fights with Pedraza. Leo came up. He was smaller. I get it. He didn't do much and accomplish much at 130, but still Leo. Tank knocked him out cold. One of the best knockouts of the year. It counts for something. I hate the fact that Tank didn't fight Loma. I don't even like the Rolly fight. I didn't like the Isaac Cruz fight. Yes, he has fought people that I did not ask for him to fight. But let's not take it too far. Some of you hate him or hate PBC or hate Leonard Ellaby so bad that you guys take it way too far. Like, yo, I get it. Like, come on. Y'all take it. Some of you take it way too far. Let's turn it down a notch. Like, turn it down a notch. Just a little bit. Munguia, nah. I see you guys talking about Rolly. Rolly is the GOAT. Yeah. Who are my top 3 at lightweight? I don't have no top 3 at lightweight, man. I don't have the top 3 at lightweight because no one fought each other. You know, at lightweight, right now, I'll have to say Lomachenko. That might change in a couple of weeks when Devin and Kambosos fight each other, but the belts are being passed around. I don't know who's the best. Teofimo, I felt was the best until he dropped the ball and lost in Kambosos. You know, and everyone takes, you know, I'm not like, I don't go hard at people that take losses. It's about how you lost. You know, you was a heavy favorite in that fight. All right, you disappointed. You clearly didn't prepare for that fight the right way. So I have to take you out of that, you know. But I will only say that Lomachenko is the only one that's really proven. Devin's not all the way proven. Tank is, I think Tank is more proven to some of those guys. So I'll have to say Loma, Tank. But I still want, I mean, overall, Tank at 135, his best ones is at 130 and then one at 140. He hasn't beat anyone at 135 yet, but as a career, I would still have to put Tank there. Everybody else, the third person, I would have to wait. Gotta wait and see what happens between Devin Haney and Kambosos. Kambosos got a big win against T.O., but it's just one big win. And Haney, I'm looking for that one big win too, which would be Kambosos up to the point. But a lot of these guys at 135 got a lot of work to do, in my opinion. You know, I have to go with the guys that's been around a little longer, like Lomachenko for sure, and then Tank, because as a career, I think that this body of their career, they did more. I'm still waiting for Devin. I'm still waiting for Ryan Garcia. I'm still waiting for George Kambosos. And I'm still waiting for Teofimo Lopez to see if he can bounce back. You know, I'm still waiting for all of those guys, even though Teo's going to move up. But still, I'm still waiting for all of those guys. So I got to wait to see, you know. So, yeah, that's the way I see it. All right, listen, I'm going to get out of here, man. I got to run. Again, yo, thank you, everyone that donated to the channel today. Please, on your way out, just hit that thumbs up. All right, share the video if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you're new. And I'll be back tomorrow, man. I'll be back talking more boxing tomorrow. There's videos, there's old videos that I got, old content or old topics that I still got to get through. And I got to get through a breakdown for this fight this weekend, which is, I don't even know, man, because Rolly is hard to like break down for some reason, because he doesn't do everything normal. I was watching him and it's like he's very awkward to me, you know. But I have Tank winning. But I'll do a video. I'll put a video out anyway. All right. But anyway, I'm out of here, man. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.